welcome once again to Let's Talk Marriage. All right. This is Pastor Larry coming to you this Wednesday afternoon with Let's Talk Marriage. All right. Gonna get right on into our program. Hope everyone is doing well. If you woke up this morning, guess what? You are doing well. All right, we're going to get right on into the program. We're still in the month of February. This is usually the month of love. You had Valentine's Day here. And the month of February, we're supporting and acknowledging all of our women. I thank God for my beautiful wife of 35 years. She's a wonderful woman. I want to get a shout out to her. She's always there for everyone else, and we just want to acknowledge her and I want to tell her how much I love her and how much she's appreciated. You have to make sure we tell our wives that how much she's appreciated. I want to take this opportunity to tell you how my wife, or Lisa, how much I love you. All right, now we're going to get right on into our program. What we're talking about, because we're honoring women, did you notice that all the problems that women have, aside from us no good men that are out there, a lot of no good men out. Oh, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good men out there as well, but you run into a lot of no good men that like to use women and take advantage of them and kick them to the curb and all that, and none of them want to get married, none of them want to settle down or nothing like that. They want to be a player when they pass their prime. Come on, make some sense. Anyway, what we're talking about, or what we're going to be discussing, that did you notice that all the problems that women have begin with men, or starts with men? Let me go over a few. If you don't think I'm telling the truth here, here it is. The first one, mental illness. Menstrual cramps, mental breakdown, menopause, gynecologist, hysterectomy. All the problems that women have begins with men. So that's why us men have to take extra precaution on how we treat our women, and as well as how we treat our daughters as well, because we set an example of, or set the stage for how women's life is going to be. So we have to make sure that we are treating our wives right, and we've mentioned this so many times on the programs that supporting our wives, how important it is to support our wives and be there for them. Because they go through things and carry loads that men don't normally do, especially if you have small children. They're the ones that look to mama. They're the ones that run the mama. They're not gonna barely seldom run to papa or dad or father. They're gonna always run to mama. So we have to make sure that we are supporting them and giving them the respect. And it really bothers me when I see men that are being disrespected to our women, because they go through so many things. So we have to make sure that we are supporting them. And all these women problems already start with men, so you don't want to complete the cycle by adding to that. There's so many things that they go through, so many issues that they may have, and we just want to, on the program, we just like to support our women and be there for them, so we can be there for them. And it sets an example for our young girls, so they'll know what to expect when they're at the age of seeing a guy or interested in someone. They'll know what to look for, because if they see how dad is treating mom, they're going to look for those same characteristics, and whoever they're interested in. And if they don't see those characteristics, they're they're not going to be interested in you. You don't want to start a cycle. And if you notice, whenever you meet a woman that's being abused or a wife that's being abused, if that's all the daughter is going to see, guess what? That's what she's going to expect, and she's going to get involved with someone that's abusive to her as well, and then it begins a vicious cycle. And we need to make sure that we stop that cycle. If your daughter see how well that your dad is treating your mom, that's what she's gonna look for. They have a good relationship, they get along well. She's gonna look for that. And if you don't hear a lot of arguing and fussing and cussing at each other, she's gonna look for something like that in a relationship. But if she hear the opposite, guess what? She's gonna look for the same type of person because that's all she's used to seeing, and that's what's embedded in her mind. So you have to make sure that we set the pace and to be there for our wives and our daughters, and let them. And us men have to make sure we teach our sons to be there for their sister. Because that sets the pace on how they're going to be with their when they get in a relationship and then start thinking about marriage and all that. That sets the pace how they're going to treat their wives, their girlfriends, their fiancés. We have to make sure that we set the pace for that because there's so many guys out there that want to be players, and they get the wrong ideal, give the wrong ideal of what a man should be and how he should be with our women. So it's very, very, very important. We can't stress it enough on the program how we should be supporting our women. In our month, we've been dedicating the program to looking out for our women and our sisters in the church, and because they carry a load in the church. A lot of times they do things in the church, and I look at my wife, how she always preparing stuff or giving her time to people and helping people and cooking for them. I was like, cooking all this food. But there's always a reason for it because she likes to be help, and she's a wonderful, wonderful person when it comes to being there for others. So I have to make sure that we be there, and have to make sure that I be there for her, and this is very important. And and again, it's important, so important to support our women and be there for them. And again, they're gonna look up to you. Your children look up to you. They notice things that happen in the house. If you have a lot of fussing between mom and daddy walking out the door every time you get mad, guess what? When they get in a relationship, as soon as they get mad, they're gonna walk right out the door. And you're gonna see them coming back home and all that. But you have to make sure that you learn. They see how what it takes to work things out and how you work things out. And a lot of times these things that you should notice before you walk down the aisle with that person or get married to that person. You should know how they are when they get mad. You should know how they are when they stressed. Because if you're seeing them or engaged to them before you get married and you see them flipping out on everything, they go to the restaurant, they just go off on a waiter, go to the store, they go to Walmart. People have enough problems at Walmart. You can tell that by the way they look when they go. and they go to Walmart and they start giving these cashiers a hard time, and and you won't do it. I'm the customer. I'm always right. And just going off on them, and having an attitude. Guess what? They're gonna do the same thing to you. You have seen them in their element. You've seen their true self, and trust me, when somebody show you who they are, that's who they are. So you have to make sure that we notice things about people before you go walking down the aisle. You go walking down the aisle, and when he explodes and go off after you get married, you surprised. Oh, I seen another side of him. You should have saw that side. You should have noticed that side before you walk down the aisle. He's a different person, almost like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You should have saw Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde before you walk down the aisle, and sometimes we notice these things and we ignore them. But you don't ignore these things because it'll come back to haunt you. When you see, before you walk down the aisle, and you see how your fiance reacts to stress, again to stress, to things that go on in life, how he is when he gets angry. If he gets angry a normal way, everyone gets angry, and next thing you say, okay, it's all right, that means he's a very person with very temperament, good temperament. So we have to make sure that we notice these things, and sometimes God will show things to us, and we tend to ignore it because he's a good catch. He got a good job. You can't just look at that because he got a good job. Just there's a whole lot of people that are in careers that are just crazy as they want to be. So that don't mean nothing. He could work on a garbage truck and just be the sweetest person you ever seen. So you can't judge a book by its cover, but the Lord give you signs, And if you're not sure before you say I do or walk down an aisle, ask the Lord. Say, hey, give me a sign. Let me know if this guy's true nature, because he just seems too perfect. And look at this, don't seem right, if he seems too perfect. If he seems too perfect, you might want to go into some detail to bring out the true person, because sometimes these people try to fool you. They hear you saying, I want a man this, I want a man to be this and that. He'll do everything you say, that you give you everything you looking for. Then next thing you know, he didn't flip the script. His true nature come out. And a lot of times it's after you get married, you have your first fight, you storm out the door and breaking stuff in the house. You're like, wait a minute, where did this come from? You should have those things you should have noticed before you walk down the aisle. So we have to make sure that we are noticing these things and supporting our wives. And again, like we mentioned in the beginning of this program, how all the things that the women problems begin with men. We don't want to continue that or add to that. They have enough problems that begin with us. And for one thing, why do they name all these things that starting with men? I had never noticed that, and I ran across that, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is so true. Why? These things all begin with men or something with his, nothing with her, because we are the head, we're supposed to be leaders, and when we are leaders, does not mean that we're overbearing. And a lot of times when we're leaders, our wives are usually the one that run the show. Because if the wife's in a bad mood, everybody's in the house is gonna get real quiet and don't say nothing, mama mad, I know my granddaughter always say, especially after she do something, you okay? So we have to make sure that we notice these things about our wives and pay attention to them, give them a lot of attention, and it's nothing wrong with telling them that you love them every day, and you don't have to sit there and wait for it and hear it back. You tell me you love me. Jesus loves us every day, but you don't hear him personally telling you that. But it's written in his word that he loves you. This is Pastor Larry. We're going to be signing off today. I hope everyone have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the month and a wonderful day. We want to take this opportunity to invite you out to our family and friends service that's going to be held on March 30th at our location, 150 14 South Plain Street. Service will begin on that day. We're going to be having dinner at 2 o'clock, and the service will begin at 3:30. So make sure you are in attendance to that, our Family and Friends Day, and the theme is going to be encouraging God's people. Until we meet again, this is Pastor Larry. We're going to be signing off.